welcome back, and settle in. Tonight we walk through the darkest places in the city of Yharnam, the quiet ruins and the haunted halls, and we tell their stories softly, so you can let go and drift off. If you enjoy these long, gentle journeys, feel free to subscribe, but there's no rush. Rest now. Let's begin our walk. Central Yharnam. You begin where every hunter begins, in the old heart of the city, on the cobbled streets of Central Yharnam. It is night, and it is always night here, the kind of deep autumn night that smells of rain on stone and wood smoke drifting from shuttered windows. The lamps burn low and amber along the lanes, and their light pools on the wet cobbles and fades into the fog before it can reach the next corner. Above you the rooftops lean close together, gable against gable, and beyond them the spires of the great cathedrals rise into a sky the colour of ash. This was once a proud and living place. You can still feel it in the bones of the buildings, in the carved lintels and the wrought iron railings, in the tall narrow houses stacked up the hillsides. People lived here and loved here and lit their lamps each evening against the dark. Yharnam grew wealthy and famous for a single reason, a miracle it offered to the world. Here, and only here, the sick could be healed with a strange and wondrous medicine. They called it the blood, and they gave it freely, and the pilgrims came from far away to be cured. But something in that gift went wrong, and tonight the streets are given over to the hunt. Behind the barred doors, frightened townsfolk whisper prayers and refuse to open, and you cannot blame them. Out in the lanes wander shapes that were once men and women, changed now, thick with fur and fury, driven mad by a sickness carried in the very blood that once saved them. This is the plague of beasts, and the night of the hunt is the night the city tries, and fails to hold it back. Braziers burn on the corners, carts and coffins are piled into barricades. Somewhere a great fire glows orange against the low clouds. It sounds fearsome, and long ago it was. But you are only passing through, a quiet observer walking a city that has already lived its terrible night many times over. Let the poor beasts howl in the distance. They cannot find you here. You drift past the locked doors and the guttering lamps, and the fog closes softly behind you like a curtain. Many who study this world believe that the true horror of Central Yharnam is not the beasts at all, but the ordinary grief hidden behind its windows. In one shuttered house a father sits with his sick daughter and will not come out. In another, a frightened woman gives you a little music box, a keepsake, and asks you to find someone she loves. These are small, human sorrows, tucked into the stones of a haunted city, and there is a strange tenderness in them. Even on the worst night of the world, people still care for one another. So walk gently here, at the beginning. Let the amber lamps light your way. The rain has stopped, and the cobbles gleam, and the fog wraps the whole city in a soft grey hush. The beasts have wandered off toward the cathedral, and the lanes are quiet now. Take a moment, before we walk on, simply to be here at the beginning, in the old heart of the city. Notice the small, quiet details that a hunter in a hurry would rush past. The way the lamplight catches the rain still beaded on an iron railing, the soft green moss in the cracks between the cobbles, a window box high above, its flowers gone to seed, nodding gently in the night air. A cat, perhaps, slipping silently along a wall, unbothered by any of the night's troubles, going about its own small business. These are the ordinary things, the tender things, that outlast every terror. The beasts will pass and the fires will burn low, but the moss will still grow in the cracks. And the rain will still bead on the railings, and the lamps will still burn their patient amber light. There is a great comfort in that, in the ordinary quietly enduring beneath the extraordinary. Let it comfort you now. You find a low stone step beneath a lamp, out of the wind, and you rest there a moment. The city breathes around you, slow and old and tired. Whatever happened here happened long ago, and it cannot touch you. Let the tiredness come. We have a long, calm journey ahead, and there is no hurry at all. Rest here, in the lamplight, at the start of everything. The hunter's dream. Step out of the city now, out of the night and the fog, into a stranger and gentler place. There is a refuge that stands apart from Yharnam, a small quiet garden on a hill beneath an enormous pale moon, and it is called the hunter's dream. You do not walk here so much as arrive here the way you arrive in a dream, without quite remembering the road. It is the most peaceful place in all of Bloodborne, and that is a curious thing to say, because it too has its shadows. But close your eyes and picture it. A little house of grey stone stands among tall white flowers, the pale blossoms nodding in a wind you cannot feel. A cottage window glows warm and gold. Beyond the low iron fence there is nothing but soft grey cloud and the huge, calm moon hanging low in the sky, close enough it seems you could reach up and touch it. The air is still. The flowers glow faintly. Nothing hunts here. Nothing can. An old man in a wheelchair keeps this place, gentle and weary, and he watches over the hunters who come and go. His name is Gehrman, and he has been here a very long time, longer than he can rightly remember. He speaks kindly to you, and there is a deep sadness under his kindness. The sadness of someone who has been waiting far too long to rest. A tall, pale woman tends the little workshop, mending the tools of the hunt without ever speaking. Small childlike servants scuttle among the graves and gather up your things. It is a household of quiet ghosts, all of them patient, all of them soft-voiced, all of them kind. Many who study this world believe the hunter's dream is exactly what its name says. A dream, a safe pocket in the fabric of the night where a hunter can return again and again, no matter what befalls them out in the city. When you fall out there, you simply wake up here, among the flowers, unharmed. It is a place of return, and of mercy, and of gentle sleep. There is sorrow woven into it. Yes, Gehrman longs to be free of it, and the moon that watches over the garden is not entirely what it seems, and in the end the dream asks something of everyone who lingers in it. But none of that need trouble you tonight. Tonight the dream is simply a warm cottage on a hill, and a field of pale flowers, and a low, kind moon, and an old man dozing in his chair by the fire. Linger here a while in the dream, for we are in no hurry at all, and there is no better place to gather yourself before the journey. Watch the pale flowers stir in their soundless wind. Watch the huge low moon hold its place in the soft grey sky, unmoving, patient, kind. Listen to the small comfortable sounds of the little household, the creak of the old man's chair, the quiet shuffle of the servants among the graves, the faint crackle of the cottage fire glowing gold in the window. There is nothing here that hurries, nothing that frets, nothing that fears. Time itself seems to have slowed and softened, the way it does in the last drowsy minutes before sleep, when the day's worries loosen their grip and slip away one by one. Let them slip away now. Let the quiet garden hold you the way it holds every weary hunter, gently, patiently, asking nothing, offering only rest and the soft light of the moon. Let this be the feeling you carry through the whole long night ahead. However dark the places we visit, there is always this quiet garden to return to, always this soft grey hush and this gentle light. Breathe out slowly, let your shoulders drop. The flowers glow, the moon watches over you, and nothing here means you any harm. Rest a while in the dream. We will walk on when you are ready, and not a moment before. Iosefka's Clinic. Not far from where you began, tucked at the edge of Central Yharnam, there stands a small private clinic, its windows warm and its door firmly shut. This is Iosefka's Clinic, and for many hunters it is the very first place they wake, laid gently on a cot beneath a soft light, having come to the city seeking the healing blood. From the outside, it seems a haven. A calm woman's voice speaks to you through the door, telling you to be careful out in the streets, promising that the clinic is safe, urging you to send any frightened survivors her way where she can care for them. She sounds gentle. She sounds like exactly the sort of person you would want, tending the sick on the worst night of the year. And so you send the lost and the wounded to her door, glad to think of them warm and safe inside. Here the story grows quietly unsettling, and I will tell it softly, because the truth of the clinic is a sad one. Not everything behind that kind voice is as it seems. In the deep and hidden rooms below, there are experiments underway, and the people sent there for shelter are not always cared for in the way you imagined. It is one of the quieter cruelties of Yharnam, a betrayal wrapped in a soothing voice, and many who study this world find it one of the most chilling turns in the whole tale, precisely because it is so gentle on the surface. But let us not dwell in those hidden rooms. Draw back, up the stairs, out into the clean night air. Whatever happened in that clinic happened long ago, and the poor souls who suffered there are far beyond hurt now, at peace, released, their story is told, and its telling is enough. We do not need to linger over the details. We can simply hold them kindly in our thoughts and let them go. There is a lesson the city keeps teaching, and the clinic teaches it too, that in Yharnam the warmest light sometimes hides the coldest room, and the softest voice is not always to be trusted. It is a sad lesson. But you are safe from all of it, watching from a distance of years, a gentle traveller passing a shuttered clinic with its lamp still burning in the window. There is a quiet wisdom the city offers here, and it is worth pausing over before we walk on, for it is spoken gently. The wisdom is this, that appearances can deceive, that a warm window does not always mean a warm heart, and that the world holds sorrows tucked behind its softest voices. It sounds a hard lesson, but there is a kind of peace in simply knowing it, in walking on with clear eyes and an open heart, neither fearful nor naive. And there is comfort too in remembering that for every warm light that hid a cold room, there were 100 that held only what they seemed. A family at supper, a candle by a sick bed, a lamp left burning for someone still out in the night. The world is full of true warmth as well as false, and the true far outweighs the false. Hold to that as the clinic fades behind you, and let its one sad story rest. So let the clinic fade behind you. Let the frightened survivors be at rest. The night is quiet again, the fog is soft, and no voice through any door can reach you now. The lesson has been learned, the sorrow acknowledged, and now we set it down and walk on. Breathe slowly. You are safe. Everything here is long finished, and all of it can be laid gently to rest. Close your eyes and let the little clinic and its warm, sad window drift away into the fog behind us. The Cathedral Ward. Climb now up out of the lower streets and into the high heart of the city, to the great plaza they call the Cathedral Ward. Here Yharnam reaches for heaven. The buildings grow taller and grander, their walls thick with statues of saints and pleading figures, their windows tall and narrow and dark. Stone stairways sweep upward between them, and everywhere the spires climb into the fog, so high their tops are lost in the low grey clouds. This was the Holy Quarter, the seat of the healing church, the place where the miracle of the blood was kept and given and worshipped. You can feel the weight of faith in the stones. Great doors stand at the tops of long flights of steps. Braziers gutter in the wind. Carved angels look down with worn stone faces, their features softened by rain and years, their hands raised in blessing or in warning, it is hard to tell which. In its glory this was surely a place of processions and bells and candlelight, of pilgrims kneeling on the cold flagstones, praying to be made well. Now the plaza is given over to the hunt like everywhere else, and the faithful who gather here are not what they were. But it is quiet tonight, in the way that great stone places grow quiet, the silence gathering in the corners and pooling under the arches. Fog drifts across the wide square. A single lamp burns at the foot of the cathedral steps, and its light is small and brave against all that towering dark. Many who study this world believe the cathedral ward is the true centre of Yharnam's tragedy, because it was here that the healing church gathered the blood and studied it, and gave it out to the city. Everything that went wrong flowed outward from this place, from good intentions and holy ambition, from people who truly wished to heal the sick and reached too far. There is a sorrow in grand religious ruins, the sorrow of a hope that failed, and the cathedral ward carries it in every stone. But grand old churches at night have another quality too, a hush that is not frightening but calming, the calm of a vast, still space where sound goes soft and time slows down. Stand a moment in the empty plaza. Let your eyes travel up the great facade, up past the saints and the arches, up into the fog where the spires vanish. There is something restful in bigness like this, in old stone that has stood for centuries and will stand for centuries more, patient and unbothered by the small dramas of a single night. Whatever fervour once filled this square has long since burned out. The prayers have all been said. The processions are over. All that remains is the cool grey stone and the drifting fog, and the one small lamp, keeping its patient light. Stand a while longer in the vast quiet of the square, and let the sheer size of the place work its slow calm on you. There is a particular peace that only great old buildings can give. The peace of standing beneath something far larger and far older than yourself. Something that was here long before you and will be here long after, patient and unbothered by any single night. The cares that felt so large a moment ago grow small and soft against all this ancient stone. Let your gaze climb the great facade once more, past the worn stone saints with their gentle blind faces, past the high dark windows, up into the fog where the spires dissolve into grey. The cathedral does not need you to do anything. It asks nothing. It simply stands, as it has always stood, holding its long silence, and it is glad, in its patient way, to shelter one more weary traveller in its shadow for a while. You find a step at the edge of the plaza, and you sit, and the great cathedral rises above you like a sheltering cliff, and you feel very small and very safe in its shadow. Rest here a while beneath the quiet spires. Nothing is asked of you. Let the stillness settle over you like a blanket, and breathe. Old Yharnam. Follow the low road now, down and away from the grand plazas, to a part of the city the rest of Yharnam would rather forget. They call it Old Yharnam, the oldest quarter, and it lies apart from the living city, walled off and left behind. To reach it you pass through a gate and down a long descent, and the character of the place changes as you go. The fine stone gives way to crumbling brick, the lamps grow fewer, and over everything hangs a fine grey ash, drifting down out of the dark like a slow, silent snow. For Old Yharnam burned. Long before this night, the plague of beasts came here first and hardest, and the sickness ran through these streets until there was no saving them. And so the city made a terrible choice. Rather than let the beasts spill out into the rest of Yharnam, they set the whole quarter alight, houses and streets and all, and let the fire do what medicine could not. The ash you see still drifting down is the ash of that old burning, settled over everything, soft as felt. I will tell this part gently, because it is a sad and heavy thing, a whole neighbourhood given to the flames. Picture it not as a scene of screaming, but as an aftermath, long cooled, long quiet. Blackened timbers lean against one another, empty windows gape. The ash lies thick on every sill and stair, undisturbed, hushing the world the way deep snow hushes a winter street. Whatever suffering happened here happened long ago, and the fires are long out, and the quarter has settled into a deep and ashen sleep. High above it all, on a broken tower, an old hunter keeps a lonely watch. His name is Jorah, and he has made himself the guardian of this ruined place. He does not hunt the beasts of Old Yharnam. Instead he protects them, these poor changed creatures, believing they have suffered enough and deserve to be left in peace. Many who study this world find him one of the gentlest figures in the whole tale, a grim old man standing watch over the forgotten, asking only that they be allowed to rest undisturbed. There is real kindness in that, a mercy offered to the very things everyone else has given up on. And so Old Yharnam, for all its ash and ruin, is in its own way a place of peace. The worst has already happened. The fires have burned down to nothing. The beasts drowse in the warm dark among the embers, and the old hunter watches over them, and the ash falls softly, endlessly, covering the scars. It is a graveyard, yes, but a quiet one, tended by a faithful keeper. Watch how the ash falls, if you like, before you close your eyes. It comes down without any hurry at all, each fine grey flake drifting and turning on the still air, settling soft as goose down on the blackened sills and the leaning timbers. It is a strange and gentle snow, this ash, and it hushes the ruined quarter the way real snow hushes a winter street, softening every hard edge, filling every crack, tucking the whole tired neighbourhood in beneath a soft grey blanket. There is a deep and melancholy peace in a place that has already been through the worst and come out the other side into stillness. Nothing more can happen here. The fire has done all it can do and gone out, and left only warmth and quiet and the slow endless falling of the ash. The old hunter keeps his watch on the broken tower. The poor beasts drowse among the warm embers, and the ash comes down and down and down, covering everything, soothing everything, laying the whole ruined world gently to rest. Let the ash drift down around you, soft and grey and slow. Let it settle on your shoulders like the lightest of blankets. There is nothing to fear in a place so thoroughly at rest. The ruined quarter sleeps, and Jorah keeps his lonely watch, and the falling ash covers everything in a soft grey hush. Breathe it in, breathe it out. You too may rest here, among the quiet embers, where the long fire has finally burned itself down to peace. Hemwick Charnel Lane. Take the winding road out beyond the city's edge now, past the last of the houses, to a lonely lane that runs between crooked graves and leaning stones. This is Hemwick Charnel Lane, the old burial ground of Yharnam, a village of the dead where the living rarely go. Fog lies thick over the graves here, and the moon is pale, and the only lights are the small lanterns swinging from the hands of the folk who keep this place. It is a strange and melancholy corner of the world. The path winds up between headstones and grave markers, through a village of low stone cottages, their doors hanging open, their hearths long cold. Windmills turn slowly against the grey sky, their sails creaking in a wind that carries the smell of turned earth. And everywhere there are candles and lanterns, little points of warm light bobbing through the fog, carried by the graveyard's shy and stooping residents. There is an old woman here, or perhaps two, spoken of in whispers, gatherers of a strange and secret harvest. For in Bloodborne the eye holds a special power, a thing much desired by those who seek forbidden knowledge, and here in the charnel lane there are those who collect them for reasons of their own. I will not dwell on the how of it. It is one of the eerier corners of the city's lore, and it is enough to say that Hemwick keeps its odd and quiet trade hidden among the graves. But set the strangeness aside, and Hemwick is at heart what all graveyards are, a place of rest. The dead lie undisturbed beneath the leaning stones, the village sleeps, the windmills turn their slow patient circles, and the lanterns drift among the graves like fireflies, and the fog softens every hard edge until the whole place seems to float, half-dreamed, in the pale moonlight. Many who study this world note how much of Bloodborne is really about grief and remembrance, about what we do with the dead and what the dead ask of us, and nowhere is that gentler than here. in a village whose whole purpose is to tend the graves and keep the lanterns lit. Even the strangest of its residents are, in their way, keepers of the dead, going about their quiet work in the fog. There is an old peace that lives in graveyards, once you set aside the shiver of the word, and Hemwick holds it richly. Think of what a graveyard truly is, a place where the weary are laid down at last, where all striving stops, where the dead rest quiet beneath the grass with nothing left to fear or want or lose. The stones lean gently together like old friends grown tired. The grass grows soft and long between them. The lanterns bob among the graves like slow patient fireflies, tended by those who have made the keeping of the dead their gentle work. There is a tenderness in that keeping, in lighting a lamp against the dark for those who can no longer light their own, in walking the quiet rows and making sure the sleepers are not forgotten. Let that tenderness settle over you. You too may be kept and watched and lit against the dark as you drift down toward your own night's rest. So walk the charnel lane slowly, without fear. Let the little lights drift past. Let the windmills creak their slow lullaby. The dead here are peaceful. The ground is soft, and the fog wraps the graveyard in a gentle silver hush. Find a low stone bench among the markers and rest there, and let the moon watch over you as it watches over all the sleeping dead. There is nothing here but quiet, and remembrance, and the soft turning of the windmills in the dark. Close your eyes, rest among the lanterns. Let the peace of this old graveyard settle deep into your bones. The grand cathedral. Return now to the high city, and climb the last great stair to the summit of the cathedral ward, where the largest and holiest building in all of Yharnam stands against the moon. This is the grand cathedral, the very heart of the healing church, the place from which the blood and the faith flowed out to the whole city. Its doors are vast, its ceiling soars away into darkness, and moonlight pours down through the high broken windows in long pale shafts, laying silver stripes across the cold stone floor. Stand inside it and feel how enormous it is, how the smallest sound goes echoing up into the dark above, how your own breath seems loud in all that space. Great pillars march away into shadow. Statues of saints and hunters loom in the gloom, their stone faces turned upward as if listening. Somewhere high above, unseen, the bells hang silent. This was the holiest room in the world, and even now, even empty, it holds a hush that feels almost like prayer. At the far end of the cathedral, in the deepest lore of the game, a great sorrow waits, for one of the church's own vicars watched over this place, and the sickness found even her. I will tell it softly and briefly. She was Amelia, a woman of faith who tended this cathedral. And in the end the plague took her as it took so many, and changed her into something vast and pitiful, a great pale beast that prowls the moonlit nave. Many who study this world find her one of the most heartbreaking figures in Bloodborne, because you can still see the woman inside the beast, still clutching a small holy pendant, still murmuring the old prayers even as she is lost. It is a grief, yes, but let us hold it the way we hold all the griefs of this city, gently, and only for a moment, and then let it go. Her suffering, whatever it was, is long over. The great cathedral is quiet again. The moonlight lies still across the floor. And whatever she was in the end, she was first a woman of faith who gave her life to caring for others, and that is the part worth remembering. There is a deep peace to be found in a great cathedral at rest, in the vastness and the coolness and the silver light. Sound softens. Time slows. The world shrinks down to this one enormous, patient room, standing as it has stood for ages, holding its long silence beneath the moon. You feel very small here, and being small can be a comfort, for it means the burden is not yours to carry. The great stone shoulders of the cathedral carry it instead. There is a stillness inside a great church at night that is unlike any other stillness in the world, and it is worth resting in a moment longer before we move on. Sound behaves differently here. The smallest whisper rises up into the vast dark above and softens and fades, swallowed by the height and the space, so that even silence seems to have a texture, deep and velvet and complete. The moonlight comes down through the high broken windows in long pale columns, and where it touches the floor it lays soft silver stripes across the ancient stone, and the dust drifts slowly through the light like tiny quiet stars. Nothing moves but the dust and the moonlight. Nothing sounds but your own slow breath. It is a room built to make a soul feel small and safe at once, held in something vast and gentle and old, and tonight it holds you exactly so, cradled in silver light beneath the sleeping bells. So rest in the nave, in a shaft of moonlight, on the cool, smooth floor. Let the silence rise up around you like water. The prayers are all said, the sorrow is long past, and the moon pours its calm silver light down through the high windows, blessing the empty cathedral and everyone who rests within it. Breathe slowly. Let the vast quiet hold you. There is nothing to fear beneath these ancient arches, only stillness and moonlight and rest. The Forbidden Woods. Leave the stone city behind now and follow the path down into the wild. Beyond the walls of Yharnam, past a hidden gate, the ground softens and the buildings fall away, and you come at last into a great tangled forest they call the Forbidden Woods. Here the trees grow close and tall, their trunks wrapped in moss and creeper, their high branches knitting together overhead until the sky is only a scatter of grey through the leaves. The air smells of damp earth and green rot, and the cool breath of running water. It is a wilder kind of dark than the city knows. Winding paths thread down through the trees, past crumbling shrines and half-buried steps, past streams that trickle down mossy stone. Poisonous mist gathers in the low hollows, and strange things move among the roots, snakes and serpents grown large and tangled, coiling in the shadows. This is old, untamed country, far from the lamps and the cobbles, where the forest has swallowed whatever people once tried to build here. The woods lie on the road to Byrgenwerth, the old college whose scholars first sought out the secrets that would change Yharnam forever, and so many who study this world see the forest as a kind of threshold, a wild green boundary between the ordinary city and the stranger truths that lie beyond it. To pass through the Forbidden Woods is to leave the familiar world behind and step towards something older and deeper. There is a hidden village lost within them too, tucked away among the trees, its people withdrawn and secretive, keeping to themselves in the green dark. But a forest at night, for all its strangeness, is also one of the most restful places in the world, and this one is no exception. Listen. Beneath the eerie hush there is the soft sound of water over stones, the whisper of leaves stirring high overhead, the small settling sounds of a living wood breathing in the dark. The mist drifts low and slow. The moss holds the quiet like a sponge. Whatever moves among the roots keeps its distance, and you are only passing through, a shadow among shadows, disturbing nothing. Let the forest close gently around you. Let the smell of green earth and cool water fill your lungs. There is a deep old peace under these trees, the peace of a wild place that does not know or care about the troubles of men, that simply grows and drinks the rain and turns slowly through its seasons. The city and its griefs feel very far away now, muffled by miles of leaves. Before you settle, let the forest speak to you a while in its own soft language. There is the low, steady voice of the stream, running over its stones, never hurrying, never pausing, a sound as old and calming as the world itself. There is the high hush of the wind moving through the canopy far above, a sound like a slow indrawn breath, rising and falling, rising and falling. There is the small green world of the forest floor, the ferns uncurling in the damp, the moss holding the quiet like a sponge, the roots spreading soft and patient beneath the leaf litter. And beneath it all there is the deep restful silence of a wild place that has never known a clock or a bell or a single human worry, that simply grows and drinks the rain and turns slowly through its seasons in perfect unbothered calm. Let that calm seep into you. You are a small quiet creature of the forest now, safe among the roots, breathing the green cool air, asking nothing, needing nothing, at home in the gentle dark. Find a soft place among the moss and the roots, where the mist lies low and the water murmurs nearby, and let yourself sink down into the green quiet. The trees keep their long, slow watch above you. The stream sings its endless gentle song, and the forest breathes around you, patient and calm, asking nothing, offering only shelter and shade and the soft sound of water in the dark. Rest here deep in the woods and let the wild quiet carry you down towards sleep. Byrgenwerth, at the far edge of the forbidden woods, where the trees thin and the ground rises, you come upon a great still lake, and standing above it on an old stone terrace, an ancient college half lost to ivy and time. This is Byrgenwerth, the place where it all began, where the first scholars set out to understand the strange truths beneath the world. The building is old and weathered, its windows dark, its balconies leaning out over the black water. Vines climb its walls. The moon hangs low over the lake, and its reflection lies unbroken on the still surface, a second pale moon shining up from the deep. There is a hush over Byrgenwerth unlike anywhere else, the hush of an abandoned place of learning, where once there was study and debate and discovery, and now there is only silence and the lapping of dark water. You can imagine the scholars here in the old days, bent over their books by candlelight, whispering of the things they had begun to glimpse, growing ever bolder and ever stranger in their pursuit of hidden knowledge. For it was here, many who study this world agree, that the scholars of Byrgenwerth first found the way to the truths that would reshape Yharnam. They sought insight, a deeper sight, a way of perceiving what lies beyond the ordinary world. And they found something. Whether it was wisdom or madness, blessing or curse, is gently debated to this day. An old provost still lingers here in the law, ancient beyond reckoning, muttering warnings, urging any who come to shut their eyes against the terrible things the scholars uncovered. Fear the old blood, he warns, a quiet caution echoing down the years. But tonight the debates are all long over, the candles all burned down, the daring scholars all gone to dust. What remains is only the old college and the still lake and the low moon, wrapped together in a deep and dreaming silence. Byrgenwerth has become a kind of monument to curiosity, to the hunger to know, and to the strange places that hunger can lead. There is sorrow in it, the sorrow of knowledge that perhaps should have been left alone. But there is also a great peace, the peace of a place that has finished its work and settled at last into rest. Let the stillness of the lake become your own stillness for a while. Water this calm is a rare and precious thing, and there is a deep old magic in simply looking at it, the way there is magic in gazing into a fire. The black surface holds the low moon perfectly, without a ripple, without a tremor, a second pale moon shining up from the deep, as though the sky had fallen gently into the water and come to rest there. The ivy hangs motionless on the old college walls. The reeds at the water's edge stand without a stir. Not a breath of wind troubles the night. It is as though the whole world has paused here, at the quiet edge of the lake, and drawn one long slow breath, and held it, in reverence, in peace. Breathe with it. Draw the cool night air deep into your lungs, slow and full, and let it out even more slowly. And feel your own thoughts grow as still and smooth and calm as the black, moonlit water before you. Stand on the old terrace and look out over the water. The lake is perfectly still, black and smooth as glass, and the moon floats upon it, calm and pale and whole. The night air is cool and smells of water and old stone and ivy. Nothing stirs. The whole world seems to have paused here, at the quiet edge of the lake, holding its breath in the moonlight. Let it hold yours too, for a moment, and then let your breath go slow and easy. There is nothing left to discover tonight, nothing to fear, nothing to do. Only the still lake, and the low moon, and the old college keeping its long silence above the water. Sit on the terrace with your back against the ancient stone, and let the calm of the lake seep into you, deep and cool and complete. Rest here at the place where it all began, and let the still water carry your thoughts gently out towards sleep. The Moonside Lake. Down a hidden stair from the old college, past the water's edge, there is a stranger place still, a wide dark expanse of shallow water beneath a sky that is not quite the ordinary sky. They call it the Moonside Lake, and to step into it is to step half out of the waking world and into something closer to a dream. The water is cool and black, and only ankle deep, stretching away flattened mirror still in every direction, and above it the great moon hangs enormous and low, doubled in the water below, so that you seem to walk through a corridor of moonlight with pale light above and pale light beneath. It is one of the most beautiful places in all of Bloodborne, and one of the most peaceful, for all the mystery that surrounds it. The stars wheel slowly overhead, the water reflects them back. There is no wind, no sound but the soft lap of your own steps rippling the mirror, and the whole vast space feels held in a deep, dreaming calm, as though the world itself has fallen half asleep. Here, in the lore of the game, dwells a great and gentle guardian, an ancient being the scholars called Rom. Many who study this world believe Rom keeps a kind of veil over the world, a soft blindness that shields ordinary people from truths too vast and strange to bear. Rom sits in the moonlit shallows, quiet and slow and unbothered, and as long as it keeps its watch, the great and terrible things beyond remain gently hidden, the way a curtain drawn across a window keeps out the glare of a too bright moon. There is a sad turn in Rom's story, as there is in so many Bloodborne stories, but tonight we let the sadness rest, and stay only with the peace. Picture the great gentle guardian drowsing in the shallow water, and the moon hanging low and full above, and the mirror still lake stretching away into a soft silver haze in every direction. It is a place outside of time, outside of trouble, a quiet pocket of the world where nothing hurries and nothing threatens, and the moon simply shines on and on. There is nowhere in all of Yharnam more perfectly made for peace than this, so let us not rush away from it. Feel the cool water lapping softly at your ankles, barely a whisper, spreading its small quiet rings out and out until they fade into the mirror flat dark. Above you the great moon hangs so low and so close it seems you could reach up and lay your palm against it. And below you it hangs again, its twin, shining up from the still water, so that you stand suspended between two moons in a soft corridor of silver light. The stars turn their slow, ancient wheel overhead, unhurried, eternal, indifferent to every trouble that ever was. There is no wind. There is no sound but the faint lap of the water and the great deep silence of a world half asleep. It is a place utterly outside of time, a still silver pocket where nothing hurries and nothing threatens and the moon simply shines on and on and on. Wade slowly through the cool shallow water, or do not wade at all, only stand, and let the stillness settle. The moon above and the moon below hold you between them in a soft cradle of light. The stars turn their slow ancient wheel. The water is cool around your ankles and calm as glass, and every small ripple you make spreads out and fades away into the silver dark. Breathe in the cool night air. Breathe out slowly. There is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to do. Only this endless mirror of moonlight and this deep dreaming calm. Let the great gentle guardian keep its watch. Let the moon shine down and up and all around you. And let yourself drift here, in the shallow silver water beneath the doubled moon, at the still centre of a sleeping world. Rest now in the moonlight. There is no more peaceful place in all of Yharnam to close your eyes. Yhargul, the unseen village. Not every place in the city can be found by daylight, or by any ordinary road. There is a hidden quarter, half real and half nightmare, that appears and disappears with the deepening of the night, and the folk of Yharnam speak of it only in frightened whispers. They call it Yhargul, the unseen village, and it is one of the strangest and most haunted corners of the whole world. Picture a district of the city wrenched loose from ordinary time, its buildings crowded close and hung with chains, its narrow ways lit by cold and flickering light. Great iron bells hang here, and things that should not move. Move. In the deepest lore this is the domain of the School of Mensis, a secret order who sought to reach beyond the veil of the world, and who used this hidden village for their strange and secret rites. It is a place of ritual and summoning, of reaching toward things far too large to grasp. I will tell the darker part softly, for it is one of the more unsettling passages in the city's tale. The people of Yharnam feared Yhargul, because from it came the ones who would take you in the night, snatching sleepers from their beds to be brought here for the school's purposes. It is the stuff of the city's oldest nightmares, the fear of being carried off in the dark. But like all the fears we visit tonight, it belongs to a night-long past, and the sleepers who were taken are far beyond harm now, their story finished, their long night over. For all its darkness, there is a strange stillness to the unseen village once its terrors have played out. The heavy stillness of a place that exists slightly apart from the ordinary world. The chains hang quiet, the bells are silent, the cold light flickers on the empty stones. Many who study this world find Yhargul the most dreamlike of all Yharnam's districts, a place that feels less like a neighbourhood and more like a bad dream slowly fading toward morning, its edges already softening, its horrors already thinning into mist. And that is how we will leave it, as a fading dream. Whatever the School of Mensis reached for, they are gone now. Whatever was summoned has slipped back beyond the veil. The village hangs suspended in its half-real hush, empty and quiet, its long strange night winding down toward nothing. There is nothing left here to fear, only the memory of fear, and even that grows fainter as you watch. Feel yourself rising up out of the strangeness now, the way a sleeper rises up out of a troubled dream toward the soft grey light of morning. The chains and the bells and the cold flickering light are already growing faint, already thinning, already losing their power over you. That is the mercy of nightmares, that they end, that no matter how heavy and strange they seem while they hold you, the morning always comes and dissolves them into nothing, leaving only the soft ordinary quiet of your own safe bed. So let this one dissolve. Let the hidden village sink back into the unseen from which it came, its rituals finished, its terrors spent, its long, strange night winding gently down toward nothing at all. You are surfacing now, up and up, toward calm, toward safety. Toward the soft grey hush of an ordinary quiet night, where nothing waits in the dark, and nothing can reach you, and there is only rest. So let the unseen village fade, the way all nightmares fade when you wake. Let the chains and the bells and the cold light dissolve gently into the fog. The dark ritual is over, the sleepers are at rest, and the hidden quarter is sinking back into the unseen from which it came. Breathe slowly, and feel yourself surface out of the strangeness, up toward calm, up toward the soft grey hush of an ordinary quiet night. You are safe. The nightmare is ending. Let it go, and rest. Cainhurst Castle. Far from Yharnam, across a lonely, windswept road, there stands a castle out of an old and faded fairy tale, and it is one of the most hauntingly beautiful places in the whole of Bloodborne. To reach it, you must ride a ghostly carriage through the night, out over frozen country, until the towers rise before you against a sky forever spinning with pale snow. This is Cainhurst Castle, seat of an ancient and noble line, and it is a place of cold marble and faded splendour and deep aristocratic melancholy. Snow falls endlessly here, drifting down over the grand courtyards and gathering on the shoulders of weathered statues. Inside, the halls are vast and echoing, hung with chandeliers gone dark, floored with cracked marble, lined with tall shrouded windows through which the pale light falls in long cold shafts. There are grand staircases that sweep up into shadow, and ballrooms where no one has danced in a very long time, and everywhere the sense of a great and glittering household that has slipped quietly into ruin. The nobles of Cainhurst were an old and proud people, and in the lore of the game they carried a secret in their veins, a strain of blood set apart from the rest of Yharnam, which made them at once beautiful and cursed. Many who study this world speak of them as tragic figures, lords and ladies of a dying house, clinging to their elegance and their pride even as their line withered, and the snow crept in through the broken windows. Deep in the castle, in the coldest and quietest room, a queen of that fallen house still lingers, ancient and sorrowful, the last of a vanished court. I will tell the darker threads of Cainhurst softly, for they are shot through with betrayal and long-held grief. The great house was struck down, its glory ended, its people scattered or slain, and the castle left to the snow. But that is all long finished now. The blood has long since cooled. What remains is only the quiet after a tragedy, the deep still hush of a grand house at rest beneath the falling snow. And what a beautiful hush it is. Stand in the great hall and watch the snow drift past the tall windows, silent and slow and endless. The marble is cold and smooth and pale. The chandeliers hang still. The whole castle sleeps, wrapped in white, its old splendour softened by dust and time and the gentle drifting snow, until it seems less a ruin than a dream of a ruin, elegant even in decay. There is a particular peace to grand faded places, to ballrooms gone quiet and courtyards filling slowly with snow. The parties are all over, the proud voices are all stilled. Nothing remains but the cold, beautiful bones of the house and the soft white falling of the snow, patient and endless, tucking the whole castle gently into its long sleep. There are few things in all the world more quietly soothing than watching snow fall through a window while you sit warm and still within, and Cainhurst offers it endlessly. Let your eyes follow the flakes as they drift down past the tall dark glass, each one turning slowly on its long, slow fall, silent, weightless, unhurried, settling at last on the marble sills and the shrouded statues and the wide still courtyards below. The great cold halls stretch away behind you into shadow, hushed and empty, their old splendour softened now by dust and quiet and the pale endless snow. There is a melancholy beauty in it, the beauty of a grand thing gone gently to sleep, of a proud house at last allowed to rest. But the melancholy is a soft one, a restful one, the kind that loosens the shoulders and slows the breath. Watch the snow. Let it fall and fall. Let its slow silent falling empty your mind of everything but its quiet white grace. Find a seat by one of the tall windows in a shaft of pale light, and watch the snow come down. Let its slow silent falling empty your mind of everything else. The old grief of Cainhurst is not yours to carry. The proud dead are at peace. There is only the snow now, and the cold marble hush, and the great still castle dreaming its long white dream. Breathe slowly, and let the snowfall carry you down, flake by flake, into a deep and quiet rest. The abandoned old workshop, hidden away beneath the city, reachable only by a secret path, there is a small forgotten room that holds more of Yharnam's true history than almost any grand cathedral or noble hall. They call it the abandoned old workshop, and it is a dusty, cramped, cobwebbed little place, and yet there is something oddly tender about it. The tenderness of an attic full of old things no one has touched in years. Picture a low wooden room, its beams hung with dust and cobweb, its floor crowded with the tools and leavings of an old trade. Candles have long since guttered out, the air is close and still, and smells of old wood and older secrets. And all round, in the shadows, hang strange and quiet shapes, the effigies and mannequins of a forgotten craft, draped in cloth, watching over the room with their blank and patient faces. This little workshop, many who study this world believe, is where the earliest hunters and their makers first practiced their strange art, before the grand healing church rose to hide and polish all of it. It is a place of origins, humble and hidden, the small dusty root from which the whole great tangled tree of Yharnam's story grew. There is a poignancy in that, in finding the true beginning of things not in a soaring cathedral, but in a cramped forgotten room beneath the streets, left to the dust and the cobwebs and the quiet. The darker truths tucked away here I will only touch upon, gently, for the workshop keeps some sorrowful secrets about what the old makers did and how the hunters truly came to be. But those secrets are old and settled now, sealed in dust, at rest. We need not disturb them. It is enough to stand in the doorway and feel the deep, slumbering quiet of the place, the sense of a room that has kept its silence faithfully for a very long time and asks only to keep it a little longer. There is comfort in a forgotten room. A grand hall demands something of you, awe or reverence or fear. But a small dusty workshop asks nothing at all. It simply waits, patient and unbothered, its old tools laid down, its work long finished, its shrouded figures keeping their gentle watch in the shadows. To step into it is to step into a pocket of deep stillness, sealed away from the troubles of the world above. There is a particular coziness to small enclosed places, to attics and cellars and forgotten little rooms that grand halls can never offer, and the old workshop has it in abundance. Think of the snuggest place you knew as a child, the fort beneath the blankets, the nook behind a door, the small warm space that felt like yours alone against the whole wide world. The workshop is that kind of place. Its low beams press close and comforting overhead, its shadowed corners hold their soft old dark, its shrouded figures keep their patient watch, not frightening but somehow companionable, like old coats hung on pegs, waiting quietly through the years. The dust lies thick and undisturbed, a sign that nothing here has moved or changed in a very long time, that this is a place where time has simply stopped and let everything rest. Curl into that stillness. Let the close warm dark of the little room wrap all the way around you, snug and safe and quiet, and hold you gently through the night. So let the little workshop hold you a while. Let your eyes wander over the dusty beams and the cobwebbed corners and the quiet shrouded shapes. Let the close warm dark wrap around you like an old blanket pulled up under the chin. The candles are out, the work is done, and the small forgotten room settles deeper into its long slumber, and you may settle with it. Breathe in the old wood and the dust and the quiet. There is nothing here but stillness and the soft weight of years. Rest in the workshop, in the deep and dreamless dark, where everything has long since been laid gently to rest. The lecture building. There is a place you reach not by any street or stair, but by slipping sideways out of the waking world, through a doorway that opens where no doorway should be. And where it takes you is somewhere strange indeed. A great echoing hall of learning that floats untethered in a grey and misty nowhere. They call it the lecture building, and it is one of the more dreamlike locations in all of Bloodborne. A place that feels less like a building than like the memory of one half dissolved. Imagine long shadowy corridors lined with doors and rows of empty desks in a great dim hall, and tall windows that look out on nothing but drifting grey fog. Dust motes turn slowly in the shafts of pale light. The air is heavy and still, thick with the hush of an old university after everyone has gone home. Somewhere, faintly, there is the sense of lessons once given here, of knowledge passed from teacher to student, of minds bent toward understanding the great mysteries of the world. Many who study this world see the lecture building as a threshold, a way station between one strange realm and another, a place you pass through on your way to deeper and stranger corners of the dream. It sits at a crossing point, connected by its odd sideways doors to places that should be nowhere near it, so that to wander its corridors is to feel yourself drifting loose from any fixed place, floating in a grey between space where the ordinary rules of the world grow thin. That untethered feeling might sound unsettling, but tonight let it be soothing instead, for there is a deep peace in floating free of everything, in a quiet grey nowhere where nothing can find you or reach you or ask anything of you. The lecture building holds you gently apart from the world. Its long corridors go on, softly lit, softly hushed, and its many doors open onto dreams. Whatever was once taught here has long since ended. The desks sit empty. The lessons are over. Only the quiet remains, deep and grey and complete. There is something restful too, in the shape of a place of learning, in the old associations of lamplight and books and long patient study, of sitting quietly while wiser voices explained the world. The lecture building keeps that feeling even in its emptiness, the feeling of a safe and studious hush, of a place set apart for calm reflection, where the noise of the world falls away and the mind can finally rest. So drift down the long dim corridors, past the rows of doors, into the great still hall with its empty desks and its grey and misty windows. Let the dust motes turn slowly in the pale light. Let the deep hush of the place settle over you. There is nothing to learn here tonight, nothing to solve, nothing to fear. Only the quiet, and the grey, and the gentle floating stillness of a dream half remembered. There is a deep and unexpected comfort in a place that belongs nowhere and to no time, and the lecture building offers it freely. To float loose from every fixed place, untethered, drifting in a soft grey between space, might sound unsettling, but tonight let it be the opposite. Let it be a release. For a little while you belong to no address, no schedule, no waiting task. You are simply adrift in a quiet grey nowhere where nothing can find you and nothing is asked of you. The long dim corridors go on, softly lit, softly hushed. The dust turns slowly in the pale light. The rows of empty desks wait patiently for lessons that will never come, and the deep scholarly silence. The old safe hush of a place made for quiet thought settles over everything like a soft grey fog. Let it settle over you too. There is nothing to learn here tonight, nothing to solve, nowhere to be. Only the gentle floating quiet of a dream half remembered, carrying you softly away. Find an empty seat in the great dim hall, and rest your head, and let the soft grey nowhere carry you off. The lesson is over. It is time to sleep. The nightmare frontier, beyond the edges of the ordinary world, past the last familiar walls, there stretches a bleak and lonely wilderness that belongs entirely to dream. They call it the Nightmare Frontier, and it is a wide desolate country of grey mud and broken stone, of shallow poison pools and jagged rock, stretching away under a strange and heavy sky. It is a wilderness, the loneliest place we will visit tonight, and yet even loneliness, told gently, can settle into a kind of peace. Picture a vast open waste, grey and still, scattered with the bones of old ruins and the black shapes of standing stones. Mist hangs over the low ground. Far off, the horizon dissolves into a dim and formless haze, so that the whole frontier seems to have no edge and no end, only more and more of the same grey patient emptiness rolling away into the dark. There is a wildness to it, an ancient untouched quality, the sense of a land that has never known a road or a lamp or a living town. Many who study this world understand the nightmare frontier as one of the raw and unguarded corners of the dreaming that lies beneath Yharnam, a place where the ordinary world wears thin and the strange great truths press close. It is a borderland, remote and forgotten, where a few lost souls wander far from any home. There is loneliness here, the deep loneliness of empty places, and I will not pretend otherwise. But loneliness in a wide open country under a great dim sky can also be a kind of freedom, a vast and quiet solitude in which nothing crowds you and nothing hurries you, and there is room simply to breathe. Let it be that kind of loneliness tonight, the restful kind. Stand in the middle of the great grey waste and feel how enormous and quiet it is, how the silence stretches away in every direction, how small your own troubles become against so much patient emptiness. The mist drifts, the standing stones keep their long watch, the dim sky holds still overhead. There is nothing here that wants anything from you, nothing that needs you, nothing that can find you. You are alone in the best and gentlest sense, alone and safe and free. Whatever wanders this frontier keeps to its own distant paths, far off in the haze, and you are only passing through, a quiet shape crossing a quiet land. The poison pools lie still, the broken ruins crumble slowly, as they have crumbled for ages, in no hurry at all. And over it all the great grey sky hangs low and calm, holding the whole lonely country in a deep, unbroken hush. Let the sheer size of the emptiness become a comfort rather than a fear, for there is a rare freedom in a place this wide and this unpeopled. No walls press close here, no lamps glare, no crowded streets or grasping hands or urgent voices. There is only the great grey waste rolling away in every direction, and the low still sky, and the drifting mist, and you, a single small quiet shape at the centre of an enormous calm. Your troubles, whatever they are, grow very small against so much patient space. They shrink to nothing and blow away on the soft grey wind, leaving you light and empty and free. The standing stones keep their ancient watch, in no hurry, expecting nothing. The mist drifts low and slow across the ground, and the vast dim sky holds the whole lonely country in a silence so deep and so complete that it begins at last to feel less like loneliness and more like peace, the wide clean peace of an empty land under an endless sky. So let the frontier carry you into its vast quiet. Let the emptiness be a comfort rather than a fear. There is nowhere you need to be, no road you need to follow, only the wide grey waste and the drifting mist and the great still sky. Lie down among the ancient stones, in the soft grey dark, and let the enormous silence of the frontier settle over you like a heavy quilt. The loneliness here is a peaceful one. The night is wide and calm and endless. Breathe slowly, and let yourself drift out into the quiet, far from everything, safe in the great grey stillness. Rest now, at the edge of the dream. The nightmare of Mensis. Deeper into the dream than we have yet gone, there lies a place born of ambition and longing, a great dark realm shaped by those who reached too far into the unknown. They call it the Nightmare of Mensis, and it is a towering, twilight world of vast bridges and looming spires, held forever in a strange amber gloom beneath a sky choked with cloud. It is the grandest and strangest of all the nightmares, and yet, told softly, even it can be gentled toward rest. Picture an immense stone causeway stretching away into the mist, so long its far end is lost to sight. On either side the ground falls away into cloud. Great twisted spires rise in the distance, and far below, half glimpsed through the murk, enormous shapes lie still, too vast to fully see. The light here is dim and golden and heavy, like the last light of a long autumn evening, and it lies over everything, softening the great strange shapes into something almost beautiful. This nightmare, many who study this world believe, was made by the school of Mensis, that secret order who sought to call down and commune with a great and distant being, hoping to be lifted up and made more than human. Their ritual reached deep into the dreaming, and this vast twilight realm is where their longing took shape. Deep within it, a scholar of the school still lingers in the lore, lost in his own endless dream, forever reaching for the wisdom that always slips beyond his grasp. There is a sadness in that, the sadness of a mind that wanted so badly to understand, and reached and never found peace. I will touch only lightly on the darker heart of Mensis, for it holds one of the game's most sorrowful figures, a great and grieving being cradled in the deepest dark, mourning in a way too large for words. But that grief, whatever it is ancient and settled now, held in the amber gloom like a fly in old resin, quiet and still. We need not go down to it. We can stand on the great high bridge, far above, and simply look out over the strange twilight world, and let it lie. And from up here, on the causeway, in the heavy golden light, there is a peculiar peace to be found. The nightmare is so vast, so slow, so ancient, that it no longer feels threatening, only immense and still, like standing at the edge of a great calm sea at dusk. The mist drifts. The distant spires hold their silent watch. The heavy amber light lies over everything, soft and warm and unmoving, and time itself seems to have slowed almost to a stop. Let it slow for you too. Let the great twilight bridge stretch away before you into the golden mist, going nowhere, in no hurry. Let the vast dim shapes rest where they lie. Whatever the school of Mensis longed for, their reaching is over now, their ritual long since run its course, and all that remains is this enormous dreaming stillness, held forever in the last soft light of evening. There is a strange restfulness in vastness, in standing before something so enormous and so slow that it can no longer frighten, only awe, and the great twilight nightmare offers exactly that. The bridge stretches away before you into the golden mist, going nowhere in no hurry, so long its far end is simply lost. The distant spires hold their silent watch. The heavy amber light lies over everything like the last long light of an autumn evening, warm and unmoving, the kind of light that makes you want to sit down at a window and let the whole slow day drain gently away. Time itself seems to have thickened here, to have slowed almost to stillness, so that each breath feels wide and unhurried and complete. Let your own sense of time slow to match it. There is no rush in a place this vast and this ancient. No urgency, nowhere you must be. Only the great dreaming stillness, held forever in the soft last light, and you, a small quiet watcher on the high bridge, letting it all lie still. Breathe slowly, up here on the high bridge, in the warm amber gloom. There is nothing to reach for tonight, nothing to understand, nothing to fear, only the vast still nightmare drowsing beneath its heavy golden sky, and you, a small quiet watcher on the bridge, letting it all lie still. Rest here in the twilight. Let the great dream hold its breath, and let yourself sink softly down towards sleep. The upper cathedral ward. High above the rest of the holy quarter, higher than the grand cathedral itself, there is a hidden reach of the church that few ever see, kept locked and secret behind heavy doors. They call it the upper cathedral ward, and it is the innermost sanctum of the healing church, the place where its deepest and strangest secrets were kept. To climb to it is to climb into the very crown of Yharnam's faith, and into the heart of its greatest mystery. Picture a grand and shadowed chapel perched at the summit of the city, its ceilings high and vaulted, its windows tall and star-filled, its floors of pale cold stone. Moonlight and starlight pour down through the great windows, and the air is thin and still and cold. The way the air is cold at the tops of mountains. There is a hush here even deeper than in the cathedral below. The hush of the most secret and sacred room in all the world, a place meant only for the highest and most trusted of the faithful. For it was here, many who study this world believe, that the healing church kept the truest object of its worship, the great and strange beings it had come to revere, hidden away from the ordinary city far below. What the church presented to Yharnam as a simple miracle of healing was, at its secret summit, something far vaster and stranger, a reaching toward the cosmos itself, toward beings of a scale and nature the mind can hardly hold. The upper cathedral ward is where that reaching lived, in silence, behind locked doors, beneath the stars. Deep in its innermost chamber, in the law, there dwells one of these great beings, ancient and vast and sorrowful, a thing of many limbs and strange grace. I will speak of it only gently, for it is one of the more awe-inspiring and melancholy presences in all of Bloodborne. A being that seems less a monster than a kind of fallen angel, grieving and alone in the cold starlit dark. Whatever it is, it means no harm to you tonight. It only drifts in its high cold chamber, slow and quiet, keeping its ancient sorrow to itself, as it has for ages beyond counting. There is a strange peace in the highest and coldest places, in thin still air and vaulted ceilings and windows full of stars. The world falls away below. The noise of the city, of the hunt, of all earthly trouble, cannot climb so high. Here at the crown of the church there is only the cold clean silence, and the pouring starlight, and the deep, patient hush of a sanctum, sealed away from time. There is a clean cold peace that lives only in high places, in thin still air and vaulted ceilings and windows full of stars, and the upper cathedral ward holds it at the very crown of the world. Think of standing on a mountain top at night, far above the valleys where the towns glimmer small and distant, where the noise and hurry of ordinary life cannot climb. That is the feeling here. The whole troubled city falls away below, its hunts and its fears and its griefs shrinking to nothing beneath you, until there is only the cold clean silence and the great pouring light of the stars. The air is thin and sweet, the pale stone floor lies washed in silver, and the high dark vault above holds a hush so deep it feels almost sacred, the hush of the highest and most secret room in all the world, sealed away from time. Breathe that thin clean air, let it empty and quiet you. Up here, at the summit of everything, there is only starlight and stillness, and the vast soft peace of the heights. So climb in your mind to that high still chapel, and stand beneath its star-filled windows, and feel how far away the world has become. Let the cold clean air fill your lungs, let the starlight lie silver over the pale stone floor. Whatever secrets the church kept here are kept still, quiet and sealed and harmless, and the great sorrowful being drifts in its distant chamber, wanting nothing, threatening nothing, only grieving softly in the dark. Let it grieve, far off, and let it be. And here, in the high cold hush, beneath the stars, let yourself grow still and quiet and calm. There is nothing left to seek at the summit of the church tonight, nothing to fear in the sealed and starlit dark, only the cold clean silence, and the pouring light of 1,000 distant stars, and the deep peace of the highest and most secret place in all of Yharnam. Rest here beneath the stars. Breathe slowly, and let the quiet carry you up and out and gently down into sleep. The Chalice Dungeons of Pthumeru. Far beneath the city, beneath even the deepest cellars and the oldest foundations, there lies a whole hidden world, an endless maze of tombs and passages carved long ago by a people older than Yharnam itself. They call these the Chalice Dungeons, the Labyrinth of Pthumeru, and to descend into them is to travel back through unimaginable ages, down past the roots of the city, into the deep and ancient dark. Picture great vaulted galleries of pale stone, torchlit and still, stretching away into shadow, long corridors lined with carved pillars, wide silent chambers where the dust of ages lies undisturbed. Everywhere the marks of an old and skillful hand, of a civilization that built for eternity, in cold enduring stone. It is a place out of deep time, older than the healing church, older than the hunters, older than any living memory, sleeping in the dark beneath the world. These labyrinths were built, many who study this world believe, by the Pthumerians, an ancient people who long ago touched the same great cosmic truths that Yharnam would later stumble upon, and who raised these vast underground tombs to house their dead and their gods and their secrets. Long before the city above ever existed, they built and worshipped and passed away, leaving only these silent stone halls behind, waiting patiently in the dark for someone to come down and remember them. There is darkness in the dungeons, of course. Old guardians and older curses tangled in the deep lore, and I will only gesture at them, for they are far below and long asleep. What matters tonight is the profound and ancient stillness of the place, the deep hush of a world that has lain untouched and undisturbed for longer than the mind can grasp. To descend here is to leave time itself behind, to sink down into a quiet so old and so complete that all the troubles of the surface world simply cease to matter. There is a strange comfort in deep places, in being far underground, wrapped in stone on every side, held in the warm still dark like a seed in the earth. The endless labyrinth folds around you, corridor after corridor, chamber after chamber, all of them quiet, all of them still, all of them patient beyond measure. Nothing hurries down here, nothing changes. The torches burn low and steady, and the dust lies soft on the ancient stone, and the deep silence goes down and down forever. There is a deep and secret comfort in being underground, in being wrapped on every side by the patient stone, held in the warm still dark like a seed asleep in the earth, and the old labyrinth offers it in full measure. As you go down, feel the layers of the world close gently over you, one by one, the noise and the weather and the trouble of the surface falling away above, until they are muffled to nothing. The torches burn low and steady in their ancient brackets, casting soft warm pools of light on the carved stone, and beyond them the corridors stretch away into a darkness that is not frightening but restful, the darkness of a place that has slept undisturbed for longer than the mind can hold. The dust lies soft and thick, undisturbed by any wind. The air is warm and still, and smells of old stone and deep time. Nothing hurries here. Nothing changes. The deep, patient quiet goes down and down forever, and you may go down with it, into the warm enfolding dark, toward the deepest rest there is. So let yourself descend, in your mind, into the great quiet labyrinth of Pthumeru. Let the layers of the world close gently over you, cellar and foundation and root, until you are deep in the ancient dark, far from every trouble, held safe in the patient stone. The old ones who built these halls are long at peace. The torches burn soft and low, and the endless still corridors stretch away into a silence older than the world. Breathe slowly, deep in the warm, quiet dark. There is nothing to fear so far beneath the world, nothing to do, nowhere to go, only the ancient stillness, and the soft torchlight, and the deep patient hush of the oldest place of all. Lie down in the quiet labyrinth, in the warm enfolding stone, and let the deep time and the deep dark carry you gently, gently down into sleep. Pthumeru Ihil, the hidden tomb. Deeper still than the ordinary labyrinth, past countless winding halls, at the very bottom of the ancient world, there lies the innermost tomb of the Pthumerians, the resting place of their greatest and their last. They call it Pthumeru Ihil, and it is the deepest place we will visit tonight, the final chamber at the root of everything, where the oldest secrets of all lie sleeping in the dark. Picture a great and solemn tomb, grander than all the halls above, its ceilings lost in shadow, its floor of black and shining stone. Here the ancient people laid their most sacred dead. Here they raised their finest work, columns and archways and carvings of a beauty and strangeness that no one since has matched. The torches are fewer here, the shadows deeper, the silence more complete. It is a hallowed place, a holy place, the innermost sanctuary of a vanished civilization, kept in perfect stillness at the bottom of the world. Many who study this world believe that here, in the deepest tomb, once dwelt the queen of the Pthumerians herself, an ancient and sorrowful figure connected to the great cosmic beings the whole of Yharnam would come to revere. Her story is a sad one, threaded with loss too old to name, and I will touch it only lightly, for she has slept a very long time now, deep in her hidden tomb, and her sorrow is long since folded away into the quiet. Whatever grief she carries it gently now, in her endless rest, far below the reach of any waking trouble. There is something profoundly restful about the deepest place of all, the final chamber, the bottom of everything, past which there is no further down to go. All the descending is finished here. All the searching ends. There is nowhere left to travel, nothing left to seek. Only this last great solemn tomb and its perfect ancient hush. To reach the bottom of the world is, in its way, to arrive at last at total rest. Let it be your resting place too, in your mind, this deepest tomb. Let the great solemn chamber hold you in its black and shining stillness. The last few torches burn low and steady. The carved columns rise into the dark. The dust of unimaginable ages lies soft and undisturbed, and over everything hangs a silence so deep and so old that it feels almost like a presence, a gentle weight, a hand laid softly over the whole sleeping world. There is no deeper quiet anywhere, no place further from the noise and hurry of the waking world. Here, at the root of everything, the ancient queen sleeps her endless sleep, and the vanished people keep their long peace, and the deep dark holds it all with infinite patience, as it has for ages beyond counting. There is a profound relief in arriving at the very bottom, at the last place, past which there is no further down to go, for it means the descending is over and the searching can finally stop. All night we have been travelling downward and inward, from the lamplit streets to the deep tombs to this, the final solemn chamber at the root of the world. And here the journey ends. Here there is nowhere left to travel, nothing left to seek, no next place waiting. There is only this last great quiet room and its perfect ancient hush, and the deep relief of having arrived at last. The final torches burn low and steady. The carved columns rise into the dark. The dust of unimaginable ages lies soft and undisturbed. And over it all hangs a silence so complete and so old that it settles on you like a gentle weight. A hand laid softly over the whole sleeping world, pressing you down, ever so kindly, toward the deepest rest there is. You have arrived. There is nothing more to do. Only let go, all the way down, into the quiet. So breathe slowly, deep in the final tomb, at the bottom of the whole quiet labyrinth. Let the last torches burn low. Let the deep old silence rise around you like still water. There is nothing beneath you now but rest, nothing around you but the patient ancient stone, Nothing left to do but let go, all the way down into the deepest and most complete quiet in all the world. Rest here, at the root of everything, and let the deep dark carry you softly, softly into sleep. Lower Loran, the Cursed Sands. Away in another branch of the deep labyrinth, far from the halls of Pthumeru, there lies a stranger tomb still, a place where the ancient stone gives way to endless drifting sand. They call it Loran, and its deepest reaches are a buried desert, a whole sunken country of dunes and ruins swallowed by fine grey sand, sleeping in the warm dark beneath the world. It is one of the most unusual and dreamlike of all the underground places, a desert with no sky, a wilderness of sand held in perfect stillness far below the reach of any wind. Picture it. Great slow dunes of pale grey sand, rising and falling in soft endless curves. Half-buried arches and broken columns, their tops just breaking the surface of the sand like the bones of some vast sleeping thing. Ruined towers leaning at gentle angles drowned to their windows. And over it all, instead of a sky, the great dark vault of the underworld, so high and so shadowed that it might as well be night, might as well be the open desert sky under a new moon. The air is warm and dry and utterly still. Nothing stirs the sand. Nothing moves at all. Loran was, in the lore, a distant land struck long ago by the same terrible sickness that would one day come to Yharnam, the plague of beasts, and its people and its cities were lost to it. Many who study this world see Loran as a warning written in sand, an older place that suffered what Yharnam would suffer, and passed away, and was buried and forgotten, drifting down into the deep labyrinth to sleep beside the older dead. There is sorrow in that, the sorrow of a whole lost land. But I will tell it only softly, for the loss is ancient beyond measure, and the sands have long since covered every wound, and what the sands have made is beautiful. A drowned desert in the warm dark is a place of extraordinary peace, of soft curves and gentle silences, of fine grey grains lying still where they have lain for ages. The dunes hold their shapes without a breath of wind to trouble them. The buried ruins keep their long slow sleep, sinking imperceptibly deeper, year by patient year, into the warm enfolding sand. There is no glare here, no heat, no thirst, none of the harshness of a desert under the sun. Only the softness of sand and the warmth of the deep earth, and a stillness so complete it seems to hum. Let yourself sink into it, in your mind. Feel the warm fine sand shift softly beneath you, moulding itself to your shape, cradling you gently. Let your hand trail through it, cool on top, warm beneath, fine as silk, running through your fingers in a soft, endless whisper. The great slow dunes rise around you, pale and patient. The half-buried arches keep their silent watch, and the deep warm dark holds the whole drowned desert in a hush older than the sky. There is nowhere to walk here, no road, no direction, nothing to seek, only the soft grey dunes rolling gently away into shadow, and the buried ruins sleeping beneath the sand, and the warm still air that never moves. It is a place made entirely for rest, a whole quiet country of it, buried safe and deep beneath the world. Feel the warmth of the deep earth all around you, held in the fine grey sand, for there is no gentler bed in all the world than a warm dune in the still dark. The sand shifts softly to take your shape, moulding itself around you, cradling you the way warm sand on a summer shore cradles a drowsy body at the close of a long day. Let your hand trail through it, cool and silken on the surface, warm just beneath, running through your fingers in a soft endless whisper. The great slow dunes rise around you, pale and patient, holding their shapes without a breath of wind to trouble them. The buried arches keep their silent watch, sinking imperceptibly deeper, year by patient year, into the warm enfolding sand. There is no glare here, no heat, no thirst, none of a desert's harshness, only the softness and the warmth and the deep enfolding quiet. Sink into it, let the warm, fine sand hold you completely, and let its soft whisper be the last thing you hear as you drift down towards sleep. So let the cursed sands cradle you, gently, warmly, completely. Let their soft, endless whisper be the last sound you hear. The lost land of Loran is at peace now, folded away in the warm dark, its old grief covered over, its long sleep unbroken. And you may join it in that peace, sinking softly into the fine grey sand, warm and held and utterly still. Breathe slowly. Let the dunes rise around you. Let the deep quiet of the drowned desert carry you down, grain by soft grain, into a warm and dreamless sleep. The hunter's nightmare. There is a nightmare made for hunters alone, a dark reflection of Yharnam itself, where those who live by the hunt are caught at last in a dream they cannot leave. They call it the hunter's nightmare, and it is a haunting, sorrowful place, a twisted echo of the city we began in, its familiar streets and spires all steeped now in a deeper gloom. It is a place of consequences, where the long violence of the hunt comes home, and yet, told gently, even it can be brought around at last to peace. Picture the streets of Yharnam again, but changed, darker, wrapped in a heavier fog. The same tall houses lean over the same cobbled lanes, but everything is dimmer, sadder, soaked in a rain that seems never to stop. Blood runs in the gutters and pools on the stones, old blood, dark and cold. The great buildings loom, familiar and strange at once, like a place you knew long ago glimpsed now through a fever. This is the city the hunters made, in a way the harvest of all their long nights, gathered into one endless sorrowful dream. Many who study this world understand the hunter's nightmare as the dream where hunters go when the hunters claimed them, when they have spilled too much blood and lost themselves to it, caught forever in the very night they could never stop fighting. It is a heavy idea, and a sad one, and threaded through it are some of the most tragic figures in all of Bloodborne, old hunters lost to the dream, still fighting battles that ended long ago. I will speak of them softly, and only in passing, for their long night is nearly over now, and the kindest thing we can do is help it end. For that is the secret heart of the hunter's nightmare, that it is a place that longs to end, a dream waiting to be released. All through the game's deepest lore there runs a quiet promise, that this endless sorrowful night can at last be brought to a close, that the trapped hunters can be freed, that the long violence can finally, gently stop. And so even here, in the darkest reflection of the city, there is hope woven into the very stones. The hope of an ending, of release, of a dawn after the longest night. Let us hold to that hope tonight. Whatever pain filled these streets, it is passing now. Whatever hunters were lost here are finding their rest at last. The rain is easing. The old blood is washing away. The heavy fog is beginning, ever so slightly, to thin. The nightmare is loosening its grip, the way a bad dream loosens as morning comes near, and the trapped and weary souls are being let go, one by one, into a deep and merciful quiet. Picture that release. Picture the long war ending, the weapons laid down at last, the old hunters closing their eyes and finally resting after so long. Picture the sorrowful city growing quiet, the fighting done, the fog softening, a faint pale light beginning far off at the edge of the sky. The hunter's nightmare is drawing to its close, and its close is a mercy, a long-awaited peace after a longer pain. Feel the great relief of an ending now, the deep clean relief that comes when a long ordeal is finally, truly over. All through the hunter's nightmare there runs this one quiet promise, that the endless sorrowful night can at last be brought to a close, that the weary can be let go, that the long fighting can finally stop. And now it is stopping. The heavy fog is thinning. The old cold blood is washing gently away in the softening rain. The weapons are being laid down, one, by hands that have held them far too long. Picture the trapped and weary souls closing their eyes at last, their long war ended, their burden finally set down, sinking into a rest they have waited for through ages of grief. That release is a mercy, the sweetest mercy there is, and tonight it is offered to you as well. Lay down every weight you carried into this night. Let the long fighting stop. Let the deep relief of an ending settle over you like a warm tide, and carry you, at last, into peace. So let the nightmare release you too. Let the heavy fog thin and lift. Let the old cold blood wash gently away in the softening rain. The hunt is over now. There is nothing left to fight, no one left to fear, only the quiet aftermath and the slow coming of a gentle grey dawn. Lay down every burden, the way the old hunters lay down theirs at last, and let the deep relief of an ending settle over you. The long night is nearly done. Breathe slowly and let go all the way into the peace that comes when the nightmare finally ends. Rest now, it is over. You are free to sleep. The research hall. Within the depths of the hunter's nightmare there stands a tall and solemn building, quiet and pale and strange, where the healing church once carried out its most secret and sorrowful work. They call it the research hall, and of all the places we visit tonight it is perhaps the most tender in its sadness, a place of suffering, yes, but also of care and patience and a strange gentle grief. I will tell its story softly, as it deserves, and bring it around at the last to rest. Picture a great vertical hall, its levels rising one above another, connected by winding stairs and narrow galleries. Pale lamplight glows in the gloom. The walls are lined with doors, and behind the doors are small quiet rooms, and in the rooms are the patients, the poor souls the church took in and changed in its long search for higher understanding. They lie in the dim light, altered, fragile, lost in dreams of their own, murmuring softly to themselves in the hush. Many who study this world find the research hall the most heartbreaking place in all of Bloodborne, because the suffering here is so quiet, so patient, so intimate. These were people once who gave themselves, or were given, to the church's search for insight, and were changed by it beyond recognition, and now drift in an endless twilight. Neither quite living nor quite at rest, there is a woman here, in the deepest lore, a gentle and sorrowful figure who watches over them, who feels the weight of what was done, who carries a grief almost too large to bear. Her story is one of the saddest in the whole tale, and one of the most human. But there is a strange grace in the research hall too, and it is important that we find it, for the story does not end in suffering. Woven through the deepest lore of this place is a quiet act of mercy, a way to bring the lost patients peace at last, to soothe their long twilight and let them rest. Even here, in the church's most sorrowful chamber, there is a path to gentleness, to release, to the easing of pain. The suffering was real, but so is the mercy that answers it. Let us stay with the mercy. Picture the pale hall growing quieter, softer, the murmuring easing into calm. Picture the poor lost patients settling at last into a true and peaceful rest, their long twilight ending, their pain soothed away. Picture the sorrowful woman who watched over them finding her own peace too, her grief finally set down, her long vigil finally over. The research hall becomes, at the end, not a place of suffering but a place of rest, a quiet sanctuary where the hurt is finally healed and the weary finally sleep. There is a deep tenderness in caring for the fragile, in tending the sick and the lost with patience and gentleness, in easing pain that cannot be cured. The research hall, for all its sorrow, holds that tenderness at its heart, the impulse to comfort, to soothe, to watch over the suffering through the long dark hours. And tonight that same tenderness is turned toward you, watching over your own rest, easing you gently down toward sleep. Let us stay a moment longer with the gentleness of this place, for its gentleness is the truest thing about it. Think of what it means to tend the fragile, to sit beside the suffering through the long dark hours and offer them what comfort you can, to smooth a pillow, to dim a lamp, to speak a soft word to a soul lost in fever dreams. That impulse to care, to soothe, to watch over the hurting until the hurt eases, is the warmest thing in all of Yharnam, and it lives here in the research hall even amid its sorrow. The pale lamps glow low and kind along the galleries. The quiet rooms hold their sleeping patients gently now, their long twilight easing at last toward true and peaceful rest. And the same watchful tenderness that once tended them turns now, softly, toward you, keeping its patient vigil over your own drift down into sleep, making sure you too are comforted and safe and gently held through the dark hours until morning. So let the pale quiet hall hold you softly. Let the dim lamplight glow warm and low. The suffering here is over now, soothed and eased and laid to rest. The lost are at peace. The grief is set down. And all through the still hall there is only the deep, gentle hush of the sick finally sleeping, cared for, comforted, at last at rest. Breathe slowly, and let that same comfort wrap around you. You are watched over. You are safe. There is nothing left but peace, and the soft pale light, and the quiet. Rest now, gently, in the healing hush. The astral clock tower. At the very top of the research hall, above all its sorrowful levels, there is a high and quiet room where the moonlight pours in and the great gears of an ancient clock turn slowly in the dark. They call it the astral clock tower, and it is one of the most beautiful and melancholy places in all of Bloodborne. A still high chamber at the summit of everything, where a lonely watcher keeps her endless vigil beneath the stars. Picture a great round tower room, open to the night. Tall arched windows look out on a sky full of stars and a huge pale moon, and through them the cool night air drifts in, carrying the faint scent of flowers. In the centre of the room the vast old clock turns, its great gears wheeling slowly, its ancient mechanism ticking softly in the hush, marking out the long slow hours of the night. Moonlight lies silver across the stone floor. Everything is calm and cool, and very, very still. Here, in the deepest lore of the old hunters, there waits a lonely and graceful figure, a guardian of this high place, keeping watch through the endless night. Many who study this world speak of her with great tenderness, for hers is a story of loyalty and sorrow, of a long vigil kept faithfully through ages of grief. She is one of the most beloved figures in the whole tale, and I will speak of her only gently, for her long watch is a weary one, and what she most deserves, in the end, is rest. For beneath its beauty, the astral clock tower is a place about endings, about the long night finally giving way, about a faithful watcher who has stood guard far too long and longs at last to lay her burden down. There is a deep sadness in that, but also a deep peace. The peace of a vigil finally over, of a long duty finally done, of a weary heart finally allowed to rest. Even the lonely guardian, in the end, is offered the quiet she has waited so long for. Let us give her that quiet tonight, and take some of it for ourselves. Picture the high tower room in the silver moonlight, the great clock turning slow and patient, the cool night air drifting through the tall windows. Picture the long vigil finally ending, the weary watcher finally closing her eyes, the endless night at last releasing her into a gentle and well-earned sleep. There is no sound but the soft ticking of the ancient clock, marking the slow hours, and the faint sigh of the wind through the open windows, and the deep peace of a duty at last laid down. There is something profoundly restful in a high still tower beneath the stars, in the slow turning of an old clock, in the cool silver moonlight and the soft passing of the hours. Time moves gently here, without urgency, each slow tick a small, quiet step toward morning. There is nowhere to be, nothing to guard against, nothing to fear, only the moon and the stars and the patient turning of the great old gears, and the deep still peace of the highest quiet room in all the world. Listen to the slow soft ticking of the great old clock, for there are few sounds in all the world more restful than the patient measured beat of an ancient timepiece in a quiet room at night. Each slow tick marks out one more small step through the long hours toward morning, unhurried, steady, endlessly patient, a heartbeat for the sleeping tower. Let its rhythm slow your own. Feel the cool night air drift in through the tall arched windows, carrying the faint sweetness of flowers. Watch the moonlight lie silver across the pale stone floor, and the huge low moon hold its place among the stars beyond the glass. The great gears turn slowly in the dark, wheeling their long slow circles, keeping their faithful time. There is nowhere to be, nothing to guard against, nothing left to fear. Only the moon and the stars and the slow soft ticking of the clock, marking the quiet hours as they pass. Let that gentle rhythm rock you, tick by soft tick, down toward a deep and peaceful sleep. So let the astral clock tower hold you in its silver hush. Let the slow soft ticking of the clock become the rhythm of your own slowing breath. Let the cool night air drift over you, and the moonlight lie gentle across you, and the long night carry you kindly toward morning. The vigil is over. The watcher rests, and you may rest too, high in the quiet tower, beneath the stars and the great pale moon, rocked softly by the slow turning of the ancient clock. Breathe slowly. Let go. Let the moonlight and the soft ticking carry you down, at last, into a deep and peaceful sleep. Murgo's Loft, high above the great twilight bridges of the Nightmare of Mensis, past the last of the towers, there is a lonely loft open to the churning sky, and across all that vast dark realm, if you listen, you can hear it, a lullaby, faint and far away, drifting on the heavy air. They call this high sad place Murgo's Loft, and of all the strange corners of the dream it is the one most steeped in longing, in the ache of a love that reaches across an unbridgeable distance. It is a place of grief, yes, but a soft grief, the kind that lives in a cradle song, and we will hold it gently and let it settle at the last into calm. Picture a high stone platform beneath a boiling amber sky, wind swept and open, at the very summit of the nightmare. The great clouds turn slowly overhead. Far below, the twilight world falls away into mist, and here, in this high lonely place, there is the sense of something small and precious, something cradled and cried over, something loved across a distance too great to cross. On the wind comes the lullaby, thin and sweet and endlessly sad, a mother's song for a child she cannot reach. In the deepest and most tender lore of Bloodborne, many who study this world believe this loft holds the sorrow of a great being who longed, above all things, to be a mother, and of a child cried for across the veil of the dream. It is one of the most affecting mysteries in the whole tale, and much of it is gently debated, kept deliberately soft and uncertain by those who made this world. I will not try to pin it down, for its power lies in its tenderness, in the simple ache of a lullaby heard from far away. Whatever the truth of it, at its heart it is a story about love, and longing, and the wish to hold something precious close. And a lullaby, however sad, is a thing that soothes. That is what lullabies are for, so let the distant cradle song wash over you, thin and sweet on the turning wind. Let its softness carry you, the way a lullaby is meant to carry a child, down and down towards sleep. The grief in it is old and gentle now, worn smooth by ages of dreaming, and it asks nothing of you but that you rest. Picture the high loft growing calmer, the churning sky slowing to a soft amber glow. Picture the longing at last easing into peace, the child comforted, the mother's song fading not into silence, but into a deep contented hush. Whatever was cried for is cradled now, whatever was lost is held. The lullaby drifts on, softer and softer, until it is less a song than a feeling, a warmth, a gentle rocking on the quiet air. Let that gentle rocking hold you. Feel yourself cradled, high above the sleeping nightmare, rocked slowly on the soft amber wind, wrapped in the fading warmth of a lullaby meant to carry you down into dreams. There is nothing to fear in a cradle song. There is only love in it, and comfort, and the deep old wish to see a beloved thing sleep safe and sound. Let the lullaby carry you the way a lullaby is meant to carry a child, down and down into warm, forgetful sleep. That is what cradle songs are for, after all, to soothe, to comfort, to ease a small weary soul gently over the edge of waking into rest. And so let this one soothe you. Let its thin, sweet melody drift over you on the soft amber wind, its old grief worn smooth now by ages of dreaming, holding nothing but tenderness, nothing but the deep quiet wish to see a beloved thing sleep safe and sound. Feel yourself cradled, high above the drowsing nightmare, rocked slowly on the gentle turning air, wrapped in the fading warmth of a song sung for someone dearly loved. There is no fear in a lullaby, only love, only comfort, only the soft rocking that carries the weary down toward dreams. Let it rock you now. Let the sweet sad melody grow softer and softer, fading not into silence, but into a warm and drowsy hush. And let it carry you, gently, gently, all the way down into sleep. So rest now, in Murgo's high lonely loft, rocked by the distant lullaby, held by the soft turning air. The grief is soothed, the longing is stilled, the song fades sweetly into the deep amber hush, and carries you with it, down and down, gently, gently, into a warm and dreamless sleep. The Fishing Hamlet. At the very bottom of the hunter's nightmare, past everything, there lies a small forgotten village by the sea, and it is the last place we will truly journey to tonight, and in many ways the saddest and the most beautiful. They call it the Fishing Hamlet, and it is a place of grey sand and grey sea and endless soft rain, a little cluster of fishermen's cottages huddled on a lonely shore beneath a weeping sky. Its story is a tragedy, one of the deepest in all of Bloodborne, and I will tell it very softly and bring it around at the last, as we always do, to a place of rest. Picture a small village on a cold shore, low stone cottages with their doors hanging open, fishing boats drawn up on the grey sand, their nets hung to dry, long abandoned. A great grey sea rolling in slow and endless, its waves breaking softly on the shore, hushing and hushing against the sand. And over everything, a fine soft rain, falling and falling, blurring the whole village into a grey and gentle haze. There is the smell of salt, and seaweed, and old wet wood, and the endless quiet murmur of the sea. The story of the Fishing Hamlet, many who study this world agree, is a story of something wondrous washed ashore, and of the terrible harm done to it by those who came seeking its secrets, and of the long sorrow that followed. It is the deep root of much of Bloodborne's grief, the tragedy from which so many other tragedies flow. Its people suffered greatly, and I will not dwell on how, for it is a heavy tale, and the suffering is long past now, and the kindest thing is to let it rest. What matters is that it happened long, long ago, and that the poor souls of the hamlet are far beyond hurt now, at peace beneath the endless rain. For despite everything, the fishing hamlet at the last is a place of profound and melancholy peace. The tragedy is over. The village is empty and quiet. And the great grey sea rolls in and out, patient and eternal, hushing softly against the shore as it has for ages beyond counting, uncaring of all the small sorrows of the land, offering the same endless gentle rhythm it has always offered. The sea does not remember pain. It only breathes, in and out, slow and vast and calm. Let that great slow breathing hold you now. Listen to the waves rolling in from far away, breaking soft on the grey sand, sliding back with a long gentle sigh. Listen to the rain, falling and falling, soft as a whisper, on the old stone roofs and the drawn-up boats and the wide grey sea. There is no sound more soothing in all the world than the sea and the rain together, the endless hush and murmur of water, washing everything soft, washing everything calm, washing every sorrow gently away. Let it wash your own cares away too. Whatever weight you carried into tonight, let the grey sea take it. Let the soft rain rinse it clean. The fishing hamlet's long grief is over, folded away into the mist and the tide. The village sleeps. The boats lie still, and the great calm sea rolls on and on beneath the weeping sky, breathing its slow eternal breath, hushing the whole world down toward sleep. Give yourself over completely now to the sound of the water, for there is no gentler sound in all the world, and the fishing hamlet offers it without end. Listen to the waves come rolling in from far away across the great grey sea, gathering slowly, cresting soft, breaking with a long low hush against the sand, then sliding back with a sigh, only to gather and come again. In and out, slow and vast and endless, a rhythm older than any grief, older than any city, older than memory itself. And woven through it the soft steady falling of the rain, a thousand tiny whispers on the sand and the sea and the old stone roofs, a sound like the world itself breathing slow and easy in its sleep. Let that great slow breathing become your own. Let each wave draw a little more of the weight from your shoulders as it slides back into the deep. There is nothing here now but water, and rain, and rest, washing you soft, washing you calm, washing you gently down towards sleep. So rest here, on the quiet grey shore, wrapped in the soft rain, rocked by the endless murmur of the sea. There is nothing left to fear in all the world tonight, no place darker than this that we must go, no sorrow that has not already been laid gently to rest. The journey is nearly over. The waves roll in and out, soft and slow and endless, and the rain falls gentle as a lullaby, and the great grey sea breathes you down, wave by soft wave, toward a deep and peaceful sleep. Odin Chapel. Now at the end of our long walk, let us return from all the far and haunted places, up out of the nightmares and the tombs and the drowned shores, back to a small warm room in the heart of Yharnam, where the weary have always gathered to rest. They call it Eden Chapel, and though it stands in the midst of the hunt, within its old stone walls there is a quiet, and a safety, and a gentle keeping. It is the place where the lost and the frightened come to shelter through the long night, and it is here, in this small circle of lamplight, that we will finally lay down and sleep. Picture a modest chapel of grey stone, its high windows dark, its floor worn smooth by long use. A few candles burn low around the walls, and their soft light gathers warm and gold in the centre of the room, pushing back the dark. It is not grand, like the great cathedral. It is small and plain and safe. And gathered here in the quiet are the survivors of the night, the ones who found their way to shelter, sitting close together in the warm lamplight, waiting out the darkness in good company. There is a keeper here, a gentle soul who tends the chapel and welcomes in the lost, who asks only that those who shelter here treat one another kindly. Many who study this world hold this little chapel dear, precisely because it is so simple and so human. A small warm refuge in a world gone strange and dark. A place where frightened people can gather and be safe and wait together for the dawn. There is no great mystery here, no cosmic secret, no terrible sorrow. There is only warmth and shelter and the quiet company of others who have made it through the night. And that is exactly where we want to end. After all the vast and lonely places, after the deep tombs and the high towers and the drowned shores, how good it is to come home to a small warm room full of soft candlelight and quiet company. Here there is nothing to fear. Here the night, for all its length, is nearly over. Here we can finally set every burden down, all the sorrow we gathered on our long walk, all the grief of all those haunted places, and simply rest, safe and warm, among gentle company, in the soft and steady lamplight. Let the little chapel hold you now. Feel the warmth of the candles, close and golden. Feel the deep safety of these old stone walls, keeping the night at bay. Feel the quiet company all around you. The soft breathing of the others who shelter here, everyone at rest, everyone at peace, everyone waiting together in the warm dark for the gentle coming of the dawn. There is nowhere else you need to go. The journey is over. You have come all the way through the long night, through all the darkest places, and arrived here at last, safe and warm and home. Let us take our time here at the end, for there is no sweeter place to linger than a warm, safe room at the close of a long journey. Feel how good it is simply to have arrived, to be done with travelling, to have walked all the way through the long dark night, and come at last to shelter. Every haunted place we visited is behind you now, each one quiet, each one at rest. Each one's old sorrow gently laid down and left in peace. The ashen quarter sleeps beneath its soft grey snow. The still lake holds its moon. The deep tombs keep their ancient silence, and the great grey sea breathes slow against its distant shore. All of it is quiet now. All of it is well. And you are here, safe and warm, in the gentle heart of the city, with nothing left to do and nowhere left to go. So let your eyes grow heavy in the candlelight. Let your breath grow slow and deep. Every haunted place we walk tonight is far behind you now, all of them quiet, all of them at rest, all their old sorrows laid gently down. There is nothing left but this warm, small room, and the soft gold light, and the deep, safe hush of the chapel keeping watch over your sleep. Feel the warmth of the little room settle all the way into you now, into your tired shoulders, your heavy arms, your slow and easy breath. The candlelight is soft and gold and close. The old stone walls hold the night gently at bay. And all around you, in the quiet, are the others who found their way to shelter, breathing slow and deep in their own sleep, keeping you company through the dark. There is nothing to fear here, nothing to guard against, nothing left undone. The long walk is over. The whole strange haunted world has gone quiet and kind. Let your breath grow slower still, and deeper, each one carrying you a little further down. Let the warm gold light blur soft behind your closing eyes. Let the deep safe hush of the chapel wrap all the way around you and hold you and keep you through the long quiet hours until the gentle coming of the dawn. The candles burn low and steady, the night grows still, and you are safe and warm and held in the gentle heart of Yharnam at the end of the long dark walk. Let go now all the way. Let the warm light and the deep quiet carry you down. There is nothing more to fear, nothing more to do, nowhere more to go. Only rest, now, only sleep. Let go now, all the way. There is nothing more to hold, Nothing more to carry, nothing more to fear. The whole long night has softened into quiet, and the quiet has softened into rest, and the rest is reaching up to gather you in. Let it sink down into the warm gold hush, deeper and deeper, past thought, past worry, past everything but the slow soft rhythm of your own easy breath. You are safe. You are warm. You are held. And the gentle dark is drawing close around you now, soft as a blanket, kind as a hand, carrying you down at last into a deep and dreamless sleep. Sleep well. Rest deep and let the long, quiet night hold you gently until morning. Good night.